Well, it appears Giancarlo Esposito's character in the MCU has finally been revealed, and honestly guys, nobody, and I mean nobody, was looking in this direction. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about where the report for the character comes from, the famous Marvel creator that seemed to confirm the story, and why this raises all kinds of questions about the future of the MCU. Now before we do that though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you are in the know. Well guys, this story caught me a little off guard, and you kind of know how I feel about leakers and scoopers, so we want to go into this whole story with a lot of salt, an open mind, and some considerations that all of this might well not be as true as we hope. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we found out that Giancarlo Esposito was joining the MCU in an undisclosed role in Captain America: Brave New World. The actor had been teasing joining the Marvel Universe for quite a long time, and names like Charles Xavier and Victor Von Doom were being thrown around, getting many fans pretty excited for his entry. Now, when he appeared on the set of Captain America: Brave New World, he was clearly none of those characters, and many people really had a lot of theories on who he could be taking up inside the MCU. One theory was that he was Bushmaster, typically a Moon Knight villain, but a potential tie between the two characters, and since an Avengers movie was coming up, that kind of made a lot of sense. Now earlier, My Time to Shine Hello chimed in on something new, and what he had said is if he reached a certain follower threshold, he would reveal who the actor is playing, and he made good on his promise. Now, this isn't coming from Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, or even Esposito himself, so obviously we want to take it with a grain of salt. Like we always say, we want to be careful with scoopers, even more careful with anonymous scoopers, and although My Time to Shine Hello has a pretty good track record, it's far from perfect, and I am still pretty suspect of anybody that charges for any of this information. Now, according to them, Giancarlo Esposito is playing a character known as George Washington Bridge. Now, most of the time when people say the George Washington Bridge, they think of the literal George Washington Bridge. But in this case, it is indeed a character in the Marvel Universe. Now, in the comics, he has a pretty interesting history and was a member of a group called the Wild Pack, which later evolved into the Six Pack. This was a group of mercenaries led by Cable. But this particular group of people were eventually decimated on one of Strife's hidden bases, but this particular character lived on and actually became a member of S.H.I.E.L.D., had a minor part in the Marvel Comics Civil War, and has butted heads directly with the Punisher. Now, he made his first appearance way back in X-Force #1, way back in June of 1991, and was created by Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza, and that's where the little bit of confirmation comes in. Now, Rob Liefeld didn't necessarily give this a thumbs up or anything like that, but he did drop a pretty interesting tweet. Now, late this afternoon, he actually went over on Twitter and said that, quote, "I am an idea and character powerhouse. Marvel loves me and my billion-dollar imagination." Now, for many people, this seemed to confirm the story that George Washington Bridge was indeed coming to life in the MCU. And with Liefeld being the creator and kind of chiming in like this, well, it's got a lot of us considering that this might actually be the truth. Now, where it gets interesting is the character's association with some other groups, and that includes a group known as Weapon Prime, who are part of Department K. Now, Department K is a covert special branch of the Canadian government, and if you know the Marvel story, you know they were responsible for reviving the original Weapon X program. This created some pretty well-known Marvel characters, including Garrison Kane, but one other one you might recognize, the one and only Wade Wilson. Now, considering the fact that giant statue in the middle of the Indian Ocean is apparently made of adamantium, well, the appearance of Department K should get fans' ears a little perked. If that statue is indeed made of adamantium, and now we have a Canadian group that is known for reviving the Weapon X program, well, all the pieces are in place for some pretty big and well-known Marvel characters, specifically Wolverine. Now, it's unclear at this point if this character is here to kind of set up a Wolverine origin, but honestly guys, teasing this now makes a lot of sense. Hugh Jackman's return to the character and leading him into Secret Wars, well, that's only a few years away, and should Marvel Studios set up all the pieces for their version of Wolverine to finally come to life, well, that would parallel the other story pretty nicely and make a lot of sense. Now, obviously, a lot of this has not been confirmed, and there's a ton of speculation here, so we want to be really careful. But this particular character is pretty well out there, and I don't think he was picked by accident. His ties to Department K and Weapon Prime, and then those ties into, well, Department H, There's a lot of framework here being laid out for these various agencies to start intermingling with the Marvel storyline, and that absolutely could bring some of these other heroes to life, specifically Wolverine and Alpha Flight. Now, obviously, we're going to watch this one pretty closely. Esposito is a rising star in Hollywood, and his appearance in the MCU can't be for a very small reason, so I suspect whatever he's seeding and opening the door to, it's going to be big, and his character is going to be around for a while. Exactly how long? Well, we're going to have to wait and see.